So here we are, James and the Giant Peach, chapter 16. James and the Giant Peach, written by Roald Dahl. And you may remember the peach has just started rolling. It rolled through the fence. And it rolled over Aunt Spiker and Aunt Sponge. And now they lay lifeless like a couple of paper dolls cut out of a picture book, because they've been squashed flat by the Giant Peach. Chapter 16. And now the peach had broken out of the garden and was over the edge of the hill, rolling and bouncing down the steep slope at a terrific pace. Faster and faster and faster it went, and the crowds of people who were climbing up the hill suddenly caught sight of this terrible monster plunging down upon them, and they scattered and they screamed to the left and scattered to the right as the peach went hurtling by. At the bottom of the hill, it charged across the road, knocking over a telegraph pole and flattening two parts.
What's that?
A telegraph pole. That's sometimes in the road you see, or by the road you see these big poles sticking up with wires stretching from one place to another. Those are the telephone wires to link the houses together by telephones. That's a telegraph pole. And flattening two parked cars as it went by. Then it rushed madly across the 20 fields, breaking down all the fences and hedges in its path. It went right through the middle of a herd of fine Jersey cows, and then through a flock of sheep, and then through the paddock full of horses, and then through a yard full of pigs. And soon the whole countryside was a seething mess of panic-stricken animals, stampeding in all directions. Well, maybe not all directions, because I don't suppose they're stampeding towards the path of the peach. So I should think they're stampeding in the opposite direction of the peach to get out of the way. The peach was still going at a tremendous speed, with no sign of slowing down. And about a mile further on, it came to a village. Down the main street of the village it rolled, with people leaping frantically out of its path, right and left. And at the end of the street it went crashing right through the wall of an enormous building, and out the other side, leaving two gaping holes in the brickwork. So it went straight into a wall like that, boom, and made a big hole in the wall. This building happened to be a famous factory where they made chocolate, and almost at once a great river of warm melted chocolate came pouring out of the holes in the factory wall. A minute later, this brown sticky mess was flowing through every street in the village, oozing under the doors of houses and into people's shops and gardens. Children were wading in it up to their knees, and some were even trying to swim in it. And all of them were sucking it into their mouths in great greedy gulps, and were shrieking with joy.
Why?
Because they like to eat so much chocolate. That's why they're shrieking with joy. But the peach rushed on across the countryside, on and on and on, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. So as it rolled, it left a trail of destruction behind it in its wake. The wake is what you leave behind. Cowsheds, stables, pigsties, barns, bungalows, hayricks. Anything that got in its way went toppling over like a ninepin. An old man sitting quietly beside a stream had his fishing rod whisked out of his hands as it went dashing by, and a woman called Daisy Entwistle was standing so close to it as it passed that she had the skin taken off the tip of her long nose. Would it ever stop? Why should it?
You said that.
I said that. A round object will
Who
always...
said that? Who said that?
I did. I said, will it ever stop? And then I answered the question by saying, why should it?
No, who said that in the story, James and the Giant
Who wrote it?
Who said that?
Roald Dahl wrote the story.
No, who said it?
Said what?
Who?
Who said James and the Giant Peach?
No.
What do you want to know?
Who said that?
Let me read on.
Who said that?
So Daisy Entwistle had the skin taken off the skin.
Who said that in the Sultan's Beach?
I'm not sure what you mean, darling. Who said what?
Is it who said what in the Sultan's Beach?
Say it slowly again. Who said?
Who said that?
Who said that?
In the story
Of James and the Giant Peach.
Speech.
Who said what in the story of James and the Giant Peach? What do you want to know? Who said what?
You do that.
You want to know who said, would it ever stop?
Yes.
It's me. I said that.
No.
Oh, you mean who in the story said it?
Yes.
James.
Oh.
Are you happy now? Would it ever stop? Why should it? A round object will always keep on rolling as long as it is on a downhill slope. And in this case, the land sloped downhill all the way until it reached the ocean. The same ocean that James had begged his aunts to be allowed to visit the day before. Well, perhaps he was going to visit it now. The Peach was rushing closer and closer and closer to the ocean every second. And it was also rushing closer to the towering white cliffs that came first. These cliffs are the most famous cliffs in the whole of England, and they are hundreds of feet high. Below them, the sea is deep and cold and hungry. Must be the White Cliffs of Dover. White Cliffs of Dover. Many ships have been swallowed up and lost forever on this part of the ocean, and all the men who were in them as well. The Peach was now only 100 yards from the cliff, now only 50, now only 20, 10, and now 5, and then, when it reached the edge of the cliff, it seemed to leap into the air, right into the sky, and hang there, suspended, for a few seconds, until tossing over and over and over in the air, and then it began to fall. Down, 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 down.
So like
It's falling down towards the sea. Down, 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 down it goes. Down, down, until smack, it hit the water with a colossal splash. And it sank like a tissue. Splash! It went down in the water. Oh no, that could mean James will drown. But that's the good news. After a few seconds, but a few seconds later, up it came. And this time it stayed up, floating serenely on the surface of the water. Shall we read chapter 17 or shall we stop?
Chapter 17.
Last one then.
No, let's stop.
We stop?
I want to start this chapter.
We stop now?
I want to stop.
We'll do the next chapter when you wake
I
up.
want to stop.
Okay.